started working on this video a few weeks ago, but it did not feel right at the time. Like, the direction of the video was lost in my opinion, so I had to shelf it for some time. Vetement is an interesting study. I think I'm at an uncomfortable point where making videos is concerned, but this may not be a bad thing. I feel like while I enjoyed the Nutshell series, and those are my best performing videos, it was void of soul, if that makes any sense. So I'm challenging myself to see if I can find the solution and implement it. I love the Nutshell series. I learn every time I make it. I've been pretty big on designers expressing their influences because you get a larger understanding of the thought and creative process in making garments. And just as important, it takes away a bit of the idea that fashion and other art forms should be this mystical thing where you wake up and God kisses your two cheeks and your bum with unimaginable garment manipulation ability. Yes, it requires creativity and a psychotic imagination juiced up on psychedelics. Of course, I'm not saying no. But it also requires a lot of research and development of existing work. This is just my belief, however. I love hearing people talk about the things that influence the art they made. I was watching the artist formerly known as Kanye West, and this thought came to me again. Also, it dawned on me that Kanye West is the closest thing to a billionaire hotep, and that is hilarious to me. Yes, this script is so old that I was making it when he released the first Drink Champs podcast. One of the more decorated designers I've looked at education and experience wise. He is the collection of what every designer would love, even a fraction of. Attending the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp, working under Maison Margiela and Louis Vuitton, Jesus, and having a dark past to pull reference from. You know, he's from Georgia. As a designer, there isn't anything more that you can ask for. Demna Vesalia, born March 25th, 1981, is a designer from Georgia. I just said that. An Eastern European country. He attended the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp. I feel like I'm repeating myself right now, but he graduated in 2006, after which he went on a training arc only fit for an anime protagonist, working under some of the best and most influential fashion brands in human history. And yes, that does include Jesus. I will argue that point. Not right now, but I will argue that point. Demna started Vetement in 2014 from, as he put it, a brewing frustration with the current state of fashion and a desire to create dialogue within the space he occupies. This was actually done through stirring up controversy through unorthodox pieces and multiple accusations of cultural appropriation. Demna sees fashion as a reflection of what is going on around us, what I could compare to as a social commentary, and draws inspiration by the attire of day-to-day people on the street and the reimagining of archival pieces. This philosophy is very similar to what I remember Johnny Johansson saying about Acne Studios. Niggas always love deep statements of why they start the fashion brand. I would love a fashion designer to be like, or be interviewed, and the question is, why did you start your fashion brand? And he looks at the camera very seriously, doesn't skip a beat, doesn't break a breath, and he says, get money, get bit. Listen, I will buy his garments. Referred to by some as a reinterpretation of Margiela's ethos, Vetement has been influenced by Margiela in more ways than one ever since the inception of the brand. For those who don't know me, and for new listeners, my name is Jabari McKnight. I've never said that before, but yeah, that's my name. It's not a secret, it's just not important. This is nighttime and I'm very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. So at this point, I'll ask you to do the thing, handle the scene, subscribe. At this point, I'll talk about some of the aspects of Margiela that definitely influence Vetement, and this is not knock on Vetement. As I say, I enjoy looking at these kind of things to understand what makes these both brands great in their own way. I have a bruise inside my mouth right now and it's hurting me to speak, but the art must live. I feel like a less threatening version of 50 Cent when he was shot in his mouth, and I feel like a less artistic version of Kanye West when he was rapping Through the Wire. However, I'm somewhere there. First point, anonymity. Yes, I've been killing the dead horse or like fucking the dead cow. I can't remember the saying, but I know anonymity. applies here as well. This does not necessarily refer to Demna because he can be seen as a celebrity designer of some sort, but it refers to his team over at Vetement. Throughout Margiela's career, he made a very serious effort in concealing his identity from the public fashion community. Nigga made it his duty to never actually be known by anyone. And you kinda ask yourself why, and the answer is, well, how would I know? But regardless, he was mostly successful of this, with only one image of him eventually getting out, so now Kanye West has a physical embodiment that he could stick on his bedroom wall. But apart from the image, he was still successful in anonymity. Y'all hearing those birds? It sounds like the ending of The Birds Part 1 by The Weeknd. This practice of anonymity was also adopted by his team at that time, with many of their identities remaining a public secret. Emphasis on public secret because I may not know them, but if you find the right person from the late 80s, early 90s and use the right persuasion methods, you'll find out what you need. All this to say, this concept was adopted by Vetement design team, who was also known to be very secretive with their identity and personal lives. The 7 designers of Vetement initial team was suspected to be from the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp, and this other list of institutions and fashion houses that I'm going to list now because I'm not going to try to pronounce all of these. So what is the meaning behind the secrecy and anonymity? If you ask me personally, come closer, close your window for a second, shh, close your laptop, unless you're watching on your laptop. 2 words, 1 meaning: money laundering. Alright, moving on. Margiela, pants, skirt. Professor, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Sit down, boy, sit down. I'll get to it. Let's start with the term of deconstructivism or deconstruction. It origins stemmed from outside of fashion, and the meaning ties a lot of art forms and studies under this umbrella. So, what is deconstruction? Despite the name, the end intent is actually creation through provoking the already stable structure within a study or practice. What does that mean? Deconstruction breaks down what already exists, but deconstruction is done so analysis can take place and a new concept can be built from this. Yes, reconstruction is a part of deconstruction, or I should say it's part of the deconstruction process. If you stop before that and you leave it in the ruins of fragmented, previously unified ideas or practices, you're not practicing deconstruction, you're just being a dick dog. But however, furthermore, referencing what I said earlier, deconstruction is tied to many practices in postmodernity. Is that a word? I'm not sure. And architecture was the study that directly influenced fashion. Onto Margiela. Margiela practices deconstruction through garments and through overall ethos of the brand, challenging already understood or accepted gender norms, the way they ran their brand on an operational level. This will be addressed later on, such as the location of choice for their runways, the casting techniques, the silhouettes, and the cut of fabrics. The deconstruction was also, in a more literal sense, in showing pieces that were seen as unfinished or in the process of being finished, made from parts that weren't typically used to make this garment, or reinventing the way a garment should be worn. Examples of these, one may ask. You begin at their first collections: a bra made of hands, the makeup on the models, tabby boots, raw hem trousers and pants made from pieces of various used fabrics pieced together. A big misunderstanding is that deconstruction is solely the raw aesthetic of pieces, such as the first Nike Virgil collaboration, The 10, or clothing that appears unfinished. Deconstructivism or deconstruction, whichever one gets you closer to the bunda, the bati, the cheeks, the yams, back, whichever term is culturally relevant to you, is a vast concept that transcends many, and when I say many, I mean many fields that I'd love to address it in an entirely separate video. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see. Vetement practiced this frequently in the way they questioned and deconstructed the then current stratosphere of fashion through social commentary, using their pieces like a satirical syntax of time. Bars. I actually got that in an article I was reading, but the phrase sartorial syntax of time, I like that shit. Elements such as the popular silhouettes, the prices of pieces, showing pieces typically worn by women in menswear collection, and stirring up controversy, whichever one, that usually results in an ongoing conversation about the elements of fashion. The Parisian gay club Le Depot, I think I pronounced that correct, but let's get straight to the point and take the class back to spring summer 1990. What happened in spring summer 1990 show? Well, if you pay attention instead of asking a bunch of questions, you'd know. Margiela held one of its earliest shows in a neglected Parisian playground. Not the earliest, just one of their earliest shows. Spring Summer 1992 collection took place in Saint Martin, Paris Metro Station, with 3 unkept stairwell decorated with over 1,000 candles as a makeshift runway. We do the same thing in Trinidad where we decorate the streets with candles, but that's when niggas get clapped with bullets. I know it smells crazy in there though. That metro station smells ridiculous. I bet all the money in my pocket. It smells atrocious in there. Spring Summer 1993, a cemetery. I don't think I need to add any to this. Niggas was really on cocaine. That's crazy. Spring Summer 1994, an abandoned supermarket. By this point, you should see the reoccurring pattern. This man was bonkers, and we all collectively look up to a madman. But also, the Maison's choice of location and set design of many of their shows were unorthodox to say the very least, and in comes 2015 collection, the Parisian gay club Le Depot. I feel like the culture fertilized by Margiela in unconventional set selections bared fruit in 2015's collection with Vetement, with the use of the basement of the gay club, and Vetement's 2020 collection in a McDonald's store. I see you've made it this far. That's good. I like that. You're good, kid. I like you. What to call you? My knight in shining Prada. I don't know, but at this point, if you have not yet, you know what to do. It's gonna pop up in front of you. Just make the screen smaller, tap the red button, come back to the video. So the collection is spring 2000 Oversize collection. The year, however, is 2001, I believe. This collection was shot in a rugby stadium, not the field but a room. There's broken stiletto heels eloquently placed on multiple large round tabletops positioned inside the auditorium. The air smells of fabric, WD-40 and tears of broken dreams. Once again, I know it smells crazy in here. This was the first collection entirely dedicated to Margiela's massively oversized pieces and silhouettes. It's said that the messaging behind the collection was a commentary on the restrictive silhouettes in fashion at that time and the inaccessibility of clothing sizes for the regular person with varying body types. So, Margiela's solution, one enormous gigantuant, is that a word? Siri. She's not listening to me. One enormous gigantuan size that everyone can wear. Could you imagine if this philosophy was adopted by mainstream manufacturing companies? Size 14 shoes only 8s in fitted caps, and Magnum XLs were just the regular size. The world would erupt into chaos. From Vetement's first collection, oversized cuts were introduced, setting a precedent for what is now understood as a staple of the brand. Vetement oversized cuts were a bit more refined than Margiela. In my opinion, do not come for me. I'm warning you. I'm warning you for your safety. My friends bite people. So, why do I like it? Well, I like it more because, simply put, it was a bit more refined, like greater emphasis were placed on the sleeves and shoulders without rendering the body to like a bloated look as well, if that makes any sense. It was still oversized, but it was form fitting to the body, and the sleeves were super long, and I really do like that. One of Vetement's, if not Vetement's, most popular piece to date is their oversized hoodie from fall 2015 collection, and understandably so. It meets in the middle of innovation, experimental venture, and mainstream familiarity in a simple black hoodie with font graphic. One of Margiela's rudimentary philosophies is the emphasis on the garments being displayed and going through multiple loopholes of reminding the consumers and viewers that remains their number one focus. One of the ways this is achieved is their casting technique. What do you mean by casting technique? That's a great question, Sebastian. The way in which they acquire models to model their garments for a collection. The method they adopted was very technical, very precise, calculated above all else. They would ask random niggas on the street. I'm being very, very serious right now. Margiela is known for many collections to recruit random everyday people to model the entire collection, including random working women, children as a playground. As I said that, it came off creepy, and I don't think that was their intention. This concept was adopted by Vetement in their spring-summer 2018 collection. For this collection, he went around Zurich, randomly stopping people to be photographed in pieces from his new collection. The individuals appearing in the collection range in professions, ethnicities, and ages. I am fascinated by this concept and would love to replicate something similar, but the thought of walking through Port of Spain, or even worse, San Juan, and randomly asking people to wear my pieces scares me beyond human understanding. You don't understand the characters that appear in Port of Spain and San Juan. It's absolutely bonkers the kind of people you may meet. And finally, fairly simple one. Short and sweet. Margiela collaborated, or at the very least, if it was not an official collaboration, they took torn up pieces of DHL logos for a new colorway of the German army trainers, the replicas. You kinda know the format of this video by now, so it should be no surprise at this point. Vetement too had a collaboration with DHL, not within the same context of footwear, but a hoodie. I'm not sure if there was additional garments as well, and yes, I now searched it up. There was a puffer and there was a cap as well. And with that said, this has been another video by Nighttime, recorded in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for watching.